Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you've been cutting fat, counting calories, and still can't fix your blood sugar, don't click away, because in this video, you're going to see exactly why the traditional advice is actually setting you up for failure. And I reveal the best way to truly lower your blood sugar. Stick around, because what I'm about to show you might shock you, especially when we look at what normal blood sugar actually means. Part 1. The myth of normal blood sugar. To lower blood sugar, we first need to define the goal. The standard recommendation suggests your fasting blood sugar, 12 hours without food, should land between 70 and 100 milligrams per deciliter. If you hit 101 to 125, you're impaired. 126 or up, you're type 2 diabetic. But the most disconnected advice comes with post-meal dynamics. Traditional guidelines say your peak, about an hour after eating, should not get over 170 to 200. I think that is an absolutely crazy range. If your blood sugar is spiking that high, you are eating processed foods your body can't handle, and you are already deeply insulin resistant. They allow pre-diabetics to hit 230 and diabetics to hit 300. These are astronomical damaging spikes. Why is the normal range so high? Because the people in that category aren't always healthy. They are just common. Remember this alarming statistic. 88% of the American population has some degree of metabolic dysfunction or insulin resistance. If most people are sick, normal is just reflecting common sickness, not optimal health. Part 2. Your optimal blood sugar targets. If you want optimal health, your numbers need to be much tighter. Optimal fasting number. Aim for a fasting number between 80 and 90 milligrams per deciliter. If you are doing long-term fasting or keto, your body can safely dip lower, sometimes even into the 50 milligrams per deciliter, because it's running efficiently on ketones. Optimal post-meal peak? The biggest difference is here. Even after a meal, you should stay between 90 and 110 milligrams per deciliter. If you eat low-carb and whole real food, your blood sugar curve should look like an almost flat line. Those huge mountainous spikes the medical establishment calls normal are absolutely not healthy and are a result of eating massive amounts of processed junk. Part 3. Starch, sugar, and the liver clog. What really causes those spikes? It comes down to food types. Carbohydrates, 70 to 100% converts to blood glucose. Protein, 10 to 20% converts via a slow, delayed process. Fat, low single digits converts, mostly from the tiny glycerol backbone. Carbs are the biggest driver, but the biggest myth is that complex carbohydrates like bread, rice, and potatoes are good. They are a massive, costly mistake for someone with insulin resistance. Here's the simple breakdown. Glucose is the simple sugar in your bloodstream. Starch is simply hundreds of glucose molecules linked together. When you eat starch, enzymes instantly chop those links apart. Starch rapidly turns into pure glucose, flooding your system very quickly. Sugar is worse. It's half glucose and half a different sugar called fructose. Fructose is the real long-term villain because the only place that can process it is your liver. If you eat 100 grams of sugar, 50 grams of fructose overwhelm your small liver. The liver, when overloaded, turns that excess fructose directly into fat. This is the #1 cause of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD. Sugar is a double whammy. The glucose portion spikes your blood sugar and insulin, while the fructose portion clogs your liver, causing local insulin resistance and setting a resistant tone for your whole body. Part 4. The Insulin Resistance Trap, the 20-year warning. The second and most important long-term factor is insulin resistance. Insulin forces glucose out of the bloodstream and into your cells. If you constantly force high levels of glucose into the cells with a high-carb diet, your cells eventually resist the action of insulin. This creates a vicious loop. Higher blood sugar, more insulin, more resistance, even higher blood sugar. Here is the most crucial takeaway. Traditional testing misses the warning signs for decades. Your blood glucose is a tightly controlled variable. For years, your body works harder and harder to keep that glucose stable. You might go to the doctor and your glucose looks fine, but your insulin levels have already doubled, then quadrupled. The body is struggling behind the scenes. Only after decades of the struggle does the system finally break and your glucose jumps up, leading to a prediabetes or diabetes diagnosis. If you only measure glucose, you discover the problem 20 years too late. If you measure insulin, you see the linear decline in health immediately. The good news? If it takes 20 years to break it, you can reverse most of that damage in just a few months by targeting the right hormone, insulin. Part 5. The 5-step plan to lower insulin. To permanently fix your blood sugar, you must prioritize lowering insulin. Here are the 5 most important steps. Step 1. Stop eating sugar. Cut out all forms of sucrose and high fructose corn syrup. Eliminate sodas and most packaged sweet treats immediately. This prevents the immediate glucose spike and the long-term liver clogging from fructose. Step 2. Reduce overall carbohydrates. If you are insulin resistant, you must cut back on all starches, including grains, potatoes, corn, and pasta. They all convert to sugar too quickly for your impaired system to handle. Step 3. Eat more leafy greens and non-starchy vegetables. Focus on high-fiber, high-water vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, and spinach. They have minimal carbohydrate content, which is absorbed very slowly due to the fiber, leading to minimal blood sugar and insulin impact. Step 4. Eat fewer meals. Practice intermittent fasting. Fasting gives your body periods of zero food intake, which means no need for excess insulin production. This allows your baseline insulin levels to fall tremendously, giving your cells a chance to reset their sensitivity. Step 5. Embrace gentle exercise. Avoid thinking you need intense exercise to burn off sugar. That actually raises cortisol, which increases blood sugar. Gentle exercise like walking is key. When muscles are working, they act like sponges, sucking up glucose from the bloodstream without needing insulin. This keeps you in fat-burning mode, gradually lowers glucose, and makes your cells more sensitive over time. Conclusion. By focusing on the root cause, insulin resistance, and using these 5 mechanisms, you can stop listening to the outdated guidelines that advocate for low-fat, high-carb diets, which frankly just make the problem worse for most people. The path to reversing metabolic momentum is clear. Prioritize lowering insulin. If you understand the mechanisms that starch is sugar, that fructose clogs the liver, and that insulin is the key player, you are equipped to master your health. If you found this breakdown helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications so you never miss another helpful video. Thanks for watching.